The Silent Patient by Michaelides. This is a psychological thriller consisting of 354 pages, and it was published by the Orion Publishing Group in the year 2019. I listened to this free of charge through my Audible app. It was comprised of 8 hours and 43 minutes. It is narrated by both Jack Hawkins and Louise Brealey. I was given a set number of days, I believe it was a total of 6 days, to both download and listen to this book free of charge. And thank you, Audible. I am so glad that you introduced this book to me because it is well worth your time. We begin with a North London setting of an explanation of a character by spelling would be Alicia Brennison. However, being that I did listen to it through audio, it is pronounced Alyssa, and I will refer to her as such throughout because I think it's a little bit more fitting. So Alyssa's life seems absolutely perfect from the outside. She has what is described as a beautiful home, perfect and quaint. She has the perfect marriage, or so it seems. She is a famous painter. Her husband is a high in-demand photographer, and they live this life that just seems to intertwine the two of them magically. We begin the explanation in what would appear as Alyssa writing these thoughts and descriptive of her life in a diary setting. And this is the only narrative that we will receive from this character. This character does not speak. We very quickly develop the setting of the story, which is not in any way a spoiler because it's explained very quickly, where we have an evening where her husband Gabriel comes home late from a fashion shoot, and Alyssa shoots him 5 times in the face and is never heard from again. Wow. What a way to start the story, right? Now, of course, through this, we are then taken to her arrest and indictment, and she is quickly carted off to a mental institution known as the Grove. And this is pretty much the place setting for our story. Now, there is a toggle back and forth between both past and present that works flawlessly, and we get a better insight into Alyssa, into Gabriel, into their relationship, and really her love and obsession for Gabriel. Once Alyssa arrives at the Grove, we are then introduced to a criminal psychotherapist by the name of Theo Faber. Theo quickly opens up about his past and uses the term that he is fucked up. So we already know that we're dealing with a psychotherapist who has a past. But the descriptive he gives of psychology is really mind-blowing. We study psychology to heal ourselves. Whether we are prepared to admit this or not is another story. And so it really does give you a perspective on psychology as a whole. Do all psychologists have this same interpretation? Did they enter the field to study someone specific? Did they want to know a little bit more insight into themselves? And it really does offer a broader look into psychology. Now, Theo is absolutely convinced that he is going to succeed at treating Alyssa. He himself is married, so you do get also a toggle of back and forth between past and present of his life. Theo himself is married, so you also do get a both past and present view of his life and how he came to be. There is this beautiful interjection of both Alyssa and Gabriel's story as well as Theo and his wife's story. And the marriage of the two works very well. You don't get overloaded with information on either side too much. And the path Michaelides takes between the two narratives works flawlessly. There is an amazing twist that works so well. If you've done any research on this story, you might get a mixed bag of reviews. For those who typically read psychological thrillers quite a bit, find that this story was very predictable. I don't read psychological thrillers on a regular basis. I try to throw one in once a month, once every so many months. So for me, the twist, the surprise, the plot points were amazing, and they kept me on the edge of my seat. Those that have reviewed it from a perspective that they read psychological thrillers on a regular basis indicate that the ending was very predictable early on. So I would say, based on the information that I'm providing from one who reads psychological thrillers on occasion, to the reviews that I had read based on people that read psychological thrillers on a frequent basis, I would say this would be a good book for you to start if you are much like myself and only read psychological thrillers on occasion, or if you are new to the genre for the first time. I was blown away, absolutely, no pun intended. I thought this was superb. Overall, I gave this story 5 stars. I think that this was well worth the time. I think whether you choose to read a physical copy of this or listen to it through an audio version, both are well worth your time. I truly hope that you'll give this story a shot, whether you are a regular reader of psychological thrillers or you are just trying them on for the first time. I'll leave you on this notion. Somehow grasping at vanishing snowflakes is like grasping at happiness, the act of possession which instantly gives way to nothing. Alyssa loved Gabriel. Theo loved his wife, both to the point of obsession. When love turns to obsession, sometimes the results can be quite deadly.